Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie critic, and today we're going to be looking at This Is Where I Leave You. This is the comedy starring Jason Bateman. So this comedy is what it says. This is a comedy. It's very funny. It has a lot of cool scenes. It has a whole bunch of cliche moments. The movie itself is a cliche. It starts out the family's coming together because of a tragedy. And the tragedy is that the father died. And the mother's trying to get her kids to stay together for the moment because it's been a while since they've been together. She tells them that it's their father's dying wish that they have Shiva together, which is a Jewish tradition. They're doing it kicking and screaming. It's not like they want to be there together. The siblings kind of get together, and then the mom, she's very loving to them, almost to the point of too loving, where she's sharing everything, sharing her thoughts, her sexual activities with her husband, how much she loved him. Now, there are some things about the movie that I didn't like, and I didn't like the kids cursing. There was, thankfully, only one scene with the kids saying a bad word. And none of these people look like they could be related, and that happens with an all-star ensemble cast. No one looks like they're related, even though they're supposed to be siblings. They don't look like their mother, and if they all look like their father, then at least they would look alike. They don't look alike at all. So, and this is like one of those things that happens in, like I said, all-star cast ensemble movies. It just... Nobody looks alike. Those were the only things that I didn't like about the movie. Even though there were a lot of cliche moments, a lot of cliche things about the movie, I still liked it. And I found it to be very funny. And I laugh out loud funny, as a matter of fact. Besides it just being an all-star ensemble cast, they are brought together by a tragedy. Most of the times it's a holiday season and the family comes together, which just happens to be an all-star ensemble cast. But in this case, it was unfortunately a tragedy of the father dying. And then at least one or more of the family members has a sucky marriage. And this case is Jason Bateman's character, who's one of the middle kids. His wife cheated on him. And then there's Tina Fey's character, whose marriage is totally sucky because they wanted Tina Fey to be in this movie, which why wouldn't it? She's really funny, but they wanted to give her more of a storyline, because if they just kept her with what worked, she was the supportive sister that looked after her brothers and was there for them and was like almost a second mother to them, even though she wasn't the oldest. If they stuck with that, that's not much of a storyline for her, especially since the other siblings, the other characters as a whole, had a pretty good storyline. So I think somewhere in the middle, they decided to give her more of a storyline, and you can tell it because it doesn't really fit. It was like a piece that was an odd shape that they put into a circular hole and just smashed it in there to make it work. And it didn't work for me. Okay, and then there was other cliche things about the movie, was that there's a big family secret, you know, that either all the family is sharing and they're not telling, and it only comes out the very end of the movie, or one family member has this huge secret that, you know, nobody knows about, and then all of a sudden it comes out at the most awkward situation, because this is a comedy, of course, so it's going to come out in an awkward situation. And this is what it is. It is the latter, where one of the family members has this huge secret. Actually, two of the family members have a big secret, but the audience knows about one of them. The other, no one knows about until the family member brings it up, and it comes out at the most awkward moment, just like the other secret does. Actually, the secret that the audience knows about actually comes out at an even more awkward moment, and it makes for a great comedy. Let's just say that. The whole movie is smart comedy. It really is. And then, of course, there is the cliche of each sibling having their specific role within the family, where the oldest is the responsible one that takes care of the family business, that stays home with the parents and, you know, has their own family and never leaves, even though secretly they always wanted to go somewhere or they always wanted to have a life of their own. And that's what this is. The oldest is like that. Then you have the youngest child, which is the irritating child, which is the selfish child that goes off and has adventures and everybody loves them. Well, everything is true about the latter in this movie. The sibling, the youngest sibling, he does go off and he is selfish and he comes back, but everybody doesn't necessarily love him, especially the oldest brother. He finds him irritating. Actually, I find him irritating too. He is a very irritating character. It's almost as though the movie could have been, need I say, better without him in it, and maybe given Tina Fey even a bigger role, but you know, he added another cliche to the movie, which is the May December romance between the older woman, in this case, and the younger man. So he's involved with this very sophisticated older woman. The thing is that, and she explains in the movie, older guys her age are pretty much appropriate and boring, which is true in some cases, in most cases. And so, she went for the younger guy to have fun and stuff. And, you know, of course, with that, problems arise. The other cliche is that someone has to do marijuana or get drunk. They do have a marijuana scene. The brothers get together and decide to have a bonding moment. And instead of them just talking, they decide to, you know, also smoke some weed. So, yeah, another cliche moment in the movie. I have to say, full disclosure, the only reason that I went to this movie was because I love Jane Fonda and I love her acting. She's a great actress, and I never realized how funny she was until I saw her in Mother-in-Law. And to see her in this movie, she just proves that point again. She's really funny. And then I grew up watching Jason Bateman. I mean, seriously, from the time he was on Little House on the Prairie, which as far as I know is his first acting gig, at least that's the one I know about, from that time onward, I've been watching Jason Bateman. And so I love his stuff. I never thought he would be a movie star, but he proves me wrong, and he's done a really great job. So those are the reasons. I mean, yeah, I love Tina Fey too, but she, even in this movie when you go see it, she really doesn't have a big role in this movie. It's mainly about Jane Fonda and Jason Bateman. I think she was kind of wasted in this movie. This movie was laugh out loud funny, no doubt. Definitely a rated R movie. No parent should take their child to see this movie. Let's be clear. This is a movie about a family. This is not a family movie. It's rated R for a reason. It's a lot of cursing. There's a brief nudity scene. There is the marijuana scene. So need I say more? So don't take your kids to see this movie. And, you know, I think anyone that likes to laugh, anyone that's a fan of Jane Fonda or Jason Bateman, because, I mean, even if you like Tina Fey, you'd probably be ticked off if you saw this movie, because she was underused in this movie. The old school movies that I have to compare to this is, the first one is Kingdom Come. Now, this movie came out back in 2001, and it had, just like This Is Where I Leave You, it has also an all-star cast. You have LL Cool J, you have Jada Pinkett Smith, you have Vivica Fox, Toni Braxton, Cedric the Entertainer. Oh, this is Anthony Anderson, Loretta Devine, and of course, Whoopi Goldberg. So it's an all-star cast. The movie, again, is laugh out loud funny. There are a few slapstick moments, kind of sophomore humor, but for the most part, it is smart humor as well. It's great comedy. Now, unlike This Is Where I Leave You, Kingdom Come is a family movie. Kingdom Come is rated PG, and I think the PG is because there was a little bit of cursing, not a lot, and it had scenes with alcohol. And that's one of the cliche moments. Just like This Is Where I Leave You, they had a marijuana scene with the bonding. In Kingdom Come, the bonding with the brothers is with the alcohol instead of the marijuana. So there you go there. And then, of course, they come together in Kingdom Come because of a tragedy. Also, the father dies. But unlike the loving relationship in This Is Where I Leave You, where Jane Fonda's character had a very loving relationship with her deceased husband, Whoopi Goldberg's character, Mrs. Slocum, in Kingdom Come, had just the opposite with her husband. She said he was mean and ornery, as she put it. And, you know, this was their relationship. And she wants people to know this about him. And she actually even gives, you know, shares some of why he is that way, or why she believes him to be that way. And I don't think that they don't really share a lot, but I don't think that the siblings feel any different about this. Now, Loretta Devine's character, who is the sister of the deceased husband, she, you know, has great love for him, and I think she may have a difference of opinion, which she does share as well. So the family dynamic in here, again, none of the characters look alike at all. I don't know how they thought that, you know, where they came. And this is what happens when you have an all-star cast. Nobody looks like they could be related at all. None of them. But you can even look at in the front of the video itself. These do not look like people that are related to each other. But when you watch the movie and you see the family dynamic between them, they are funny. They do feel like a family. Their arguments, their laughter moments, they do have, just like in This Is Where I Leave You, where it was comedy with bits of drama in there, very serious moments, touching moments. The same thing with Kingdom Come. This was a comedy, and it had touching, serious moments within the movie, and it was really sweet. But it was mainly a comedy just to make you laugh. Also, in Kingdom Come, you had your siblings with their characters. The oldest, the honorable, reliable Ray, who's played by LL Cool J. And then you have the middle child, who is played by Anthony Anderson Jr., who is anything but reliable. He's always coming up with crazy schemes that never work. He's married to his wife. Jada Pinkett Smith's character's name is Clarice, and she's married to Anthony Anderson. Like I said, she reminds him every day of what a loser he is. And, you know, he does do crazy things. So that's the family dynamic there. And then you have the marriage where with Ray and his wife, Lucille, where they're also trying to have children, just like in This Is Where I Leave You, where the oldest son and his wife are trying to have children. And, you know, they look at how hard it is. You look at how hard it is for both of them. And even though it's a very serious topic in each movie, it also makes for a good comedy. But they do take on a serious note with it too. And it's a good, they're both funny movies, both laugh out loud comedies, both smart comedies. And, you know, so it's, but unlike This Is Where I Leave You, that's just for the adults, Kingdom Come is for the kids as well. Kids, I'd say teen kids, like 13 and above, along with the adults. You know, some of the younger kids, they as far as it being okay to watch, it is, but it may not be funny to them. The movie that I have, this movie came out in 1994, so this is really old school, is Safe Passage. And this stars Susan Sarandon, as you see at the top, and Sam Shepard. Well, this is just this is the rest of them. Them down here, and you can see them a little bit. But it stars Susan Sarandon, Sam Shepard, Marcia Gay Harden, Robert Sean Leonard, and Sean Astin. And so it's more, the cast isn't necessarily all-star like the other two movies, but it does have some big names in the movie. Safe Passage, unlike This Is Where I Leave You and Kingdom Come, Safe Passage is a drama. And it has some funny moments in it, but it is mainly a drama. I think but it's not a heavy drama. It stays very light, and that's why when the comedy comes in there, it's very natural. It seems like a regular weird family that has the weirdest issues. The mom lives at home with her son because she's kicked her husband out, and all of a sudden they get word that their son, one of their sons, because she has 7 sons, that the son that is the soldier that's over in Sinai, Egypt, there was a bomb explosion in the building that he works in, and they're not sure if he was in that explosion or not, or if he was killed. So all the families brought together, they're called and everything, to come together to support each other. And again, you have the cliche moments where you have the oldest son, Alfred, who is played by Robert Sean Leonard, who is very comforting. He takes care of mainly his mom, tries to be a mediator between the mom and the rest of the family. And he, is also the serious one, the dependable one, just like the oldest kids in the other 2 movies. And then you have Sean Astin character, whose name is Izzy, and he's the second to the oldest. Now, he's also very dependable. He's the vet. He's the one that takes care of the dad, who's like a big kid himself. And it's like, and he's always trying to take care of his dad and kind of like keep him from some of the strikes that his mom throws at him for being, a big kid and stuff. So Izzy takes care of the dad mainly and looks out for him when he's home. And then you have, also let me go back to Sean, or to the character Alfred. He's in a relationship kind of like the youngest character in This Is Where I Leave You with an older woman. The difference here is where the young man in This Is Where I Leave You, he takes his partner for granted, and he's like a big kid himself. Alfred, who is the oldest in his family, he wants that relationship, and he likes being in a relationship with an older woman. And it's the older woman, who's played by Marsha Gay Harden, and her character's name is Cynthia, who feels kind of, that she's taking something away from him by being in this relationship with him because he is so young. And he's like 24. It never says how old she is in the movie, and she looks very young. She looks like she could be in her 20s too. She has 2 boys, so I'm guessing they have her somewhere in her 30s. And it's really a nice relationship. They almost look like they're married and very comfortable with each other, except for that fact where she feels like she's taking something away from Alfred from being with him. It isn't as comparable as Kingdom Come is with This Is How I Leave You, but as you see in all the movies where the kids have a more of a relationship with their mom than their dad, it's the same thing in Safe Passage, where they show more of a relationship with the mom and that dynamic than they do the dad, even though in this movie, Safe Passage, the dad is alive as opposed to the other movies. And, and then you have the May December Romance. So those are the 2 old school movies that I compare to This Is Where I Leave You. And that's my review for all of them. I hope you like it. If you have other movies that you think better compare with This Is How I Leave You, please let me know. And also let me know your comments about This Is Where I Leave You. And I will see you next time.